Deportation from Thailand. BJP MP Anurag Thakur has accused TMC MP of smoking an e-cigarette in Parliament. He's already filed an official complaint with the Lok Sabha Speaker. Another TMC MP has flouted norms smoking near the Makar Dwar. BJP MP Anurag Thakur has lashed out at the DMK and Congress over the Deepam Row. Thakur says the impeachment motion against the High Court judge reveals DMK's anti-Hindu mindset. As Delhi's AQI worsens, Rahul Gandhi urges debate on pollution, says opposition is ready to cooperate with the government. Rijiju says they will structure a discussion on air pollution. Centre has approved a mega crore budget, in fact, to be precise, 11,718 crore rupees budget for Census 2027. Last census was done in 2011. Exercise to commence in March of 2027. Senior Congress leader and former Odisha MLA Mohammad Mokim writes to Sonia Gandhi demanding leadership change, citing Mallikarjun Kharge's age, laments inaccessibility to Rahul Gandhi. Karnataka Chief Minister aide's son booked in a multi-crore cheating case. FIR filed against Rajat Venkatesh and two others for cheating an NRI to the tune of 17 crore rupees. Shashi Tharoor is absent from Rahul Gandhi-led MP meet, sparks a fresh question within the Congress party. BJP sources have contradicted Bengal Chief Minister's claim of not having filled out the SIR form, says the Chief Minister's form has been filled up and even uploaded on Election Commission's portal. All right, staying with our top focus, the Luthra Brothers, co-owners of the Goa nightclub where 25 people tragically died in a massive fire, remain in Thai custody. The Goa police sources say the duo is unlikely to be brought back to Goa until Wednesday. The duo have now been shifted to Bangkok. Indian government sources say the Luthra Brothers are facing a documentation hurdle in Thailand after their passports were cancelled following the incident. Sources reveal a complex web of shell companies linked to the brothers, allegedly used for money laundering. Co-accused Ajay Gupta has revealed that the land on which the club stands was leased to the Luthra Brothers by Surinder Khosla. The passports of Luthra Brothers have been revoked. The Thai courts may also need to cancel their visas, a process expected to take at least 2 days. Meanwhile, CNN News 18 has also accessed inside details related to co-accused Ajay Gupta. Police sources say that Gupta was in Goa at the time of the incident but not at the spot. Gupta flew to Delhi on Sunday and got himself admitted to hospital only to evade the arrest. CNN News 18's Arunima happens to be on ground in Phuket. She brings you a report.
After spending the night here, the Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurav Luthra, have moved out of the Phuket Immigration Centre and they have been taken to Bangkok. This has been confirmed by immigration officials here at the Phuket Centre of Immigration, which is the Thai authorities' centre here in Phuket. So the Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurav Luthra, were here overnight. You must have seen that picture where Gaurav and Saurav Luthra are seen sitting with the immigration officials. So that was one of the last pictures clicked here. The immigration officials here in Phuket completed all the paperwork, and subsequently on the morning of Friday, immigration officials here in Phuket confirmed they were taken to Bangkok. So what is it that was required? Why was this move towards Bangkok? The shift to Bangkok was necessary because there were two parallel legal work that had to be carried out. One, the work that was to be done by the Thailand visa authorities. They had to revoke the visa of Gaurav and Saurav Luthra. A production in court is required. A court will declare them illegal and only then will the process of deportation begin. So that's the process as far as Thai authorities are concerned. There's also a parallel process to be carried out by the Indian authorities. The Indian embassy will cancel, it has already cancelled, revoked the passport of the Luthra brothers, and now an emergency document has to be issued. It is that emergency document that will be stamped by the immigration authorities of Thailand, when the Luthra brothers leave Thailand and leave for India. So those two parallel legal processes will be carried out. That is why Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra have been taken to Bangkok. The court production, because it's weekend, Saturday, Sunday coming up, it could delay matters. But Goa police is definitely hopeful that latest by Monday or perhaps Tuesday, they will be able to question Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra, question them about was it just lack of proper due diligence, or was it a known conspiracy, not caring for the lives of people? Who really helped them, warned them about the LOC that the Indian government was issuing? Who all in government of Goa or central government helped them escape from Goa escape from India while the inferno was still on? All of these are questions that Goa police wants to ask. First step has been taken, which is the move from Phuket to Bangkok.
All right, but the key question remains, what is in fact leading to this delay as far as the deportation procedure of the Luthras is concerned? Remember, to begin with, they are facing hurdles right now as their passports have been revoked. They were done by the Ministry of External Affairs post the inferno. Their passports were cancelled and that triggered their detention in Thailand, which of course was the need of the hour. It was the priority. The Thai deportation needs court clearance, declaring them as illegals. They already are illegals, remember, because their passports are cancelled. The legal procedures in Thailand are expected to take at least 2 days. Now that the weekend has also arrived, perhaps that could also lead to a delay in terms of the procedures. India must issue an emergency travel certificate for deportation as well. Let's quickly take that forward with Anshul, who's been tracking that story for us. He's also joining me live on the broadcast. So, Anshul, as we took our viewers through what is now leading to this entire delay, but having said that, by when can we roughly expect both of them to be deported and brought back to the national capital? What is the procedure entailing in the interim?
Well, if everything goes according to the plan of the Indian agencies, then it is expected that both the accused would return to India by late Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning. But everything depends upon the legal procedure that will happen in Thailand, in Bangkok, because remember, both these accused still have a chance to challenge this order of deportation in front of the courts. And over there, the Indian authorities will have to prove that why this deportation is absolutely necessary and why both these accused who are wanted in India should be deported at the earliest to India. The groundwork for that has already been set up. Their passports have already been cancelled, which means that the manner in which they are staying in Thailand is actually illegal, and hence it should work in the favor of the Indian agencies at this point in time. But remember, they can the courts will hear this entire argument on Monday at the earliest. It is expected, and it is at that point, if the lawyers of the Luthra brothers are able to convince the court that if at all they are deported to India, then there is a threat to their life, and if the court believes on those points, then definitely there could be more delay in their deportation at this point. But if everything goes according to the plan, we can expect that by Tuesday or by Wednesday early morning, both these accused will be brought back to the national capital, that is from the airport from which they had fled from the country, and from here the Goa police will take them under their custody, and then he will travel all the way to Goa, where the Goa police will demand for the police custody of both these accused from a court in Goa, and then eventually their interrogation would be done by the Goa police.
All right, stay with me, Anshul. Let me also take our viewers through how authorities are in fact awaiting Luthra's deportation. Why is it so significant, and what will happen once they are brought back? On arrival, the duo, remember, will be arrested for culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. That is the charge under which they've been booked so far, to be produced before the court. The prosecution then presents proof. The cops will then be probing the fire, the safety lapses, of course, the licensing and other charges also that kick into the picture. Now, remember, they're also facing money laundering probe in alleged 42 shell companies, which of course are also indicating a phantom expansion of sorts as far as their entire business was concerned. Let's quickly take that forward with Yesha Kotak, who's also joining me live on the broadcast. Yesha, whether it is tax evasion, money laundering, all of these charges now also merit for an investigation by another central agency, perhaps a CBI or even the Enforcement Directorate, to investigate them under the PMLA. What are the chances that now a central agency will also be stepping in to investigate these corruption charges?
Absolutely. So now, rightly so, of course, all of these documents have come to forth, including the allegations that there were shell companies that were operating, there was money laundering that was taking place to all of these companies. Of course, CBI has already been involved with the process of getting the brothers, Luthra brothers, back to Goa with the help of Interpol. But when it comes to the money laundering aspect, when it comes to an agency like Enforcement Directorate, what will be important is once the Luthra brothers are brought back to India is where Goa police would be investigating them. Now Goa police, when they investigate all of these angles, when they investigate all of these documents, be that of shell companies or for that matter be that of money laundering, they would also have to mention all of this in their investigation, which could eventually be handed over to the Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate as a central agency, they cannot file the FIR by themselves, and which is where on the basis of the FIR or the investigation of Goa police, once that is shared with Enforcement Directorate, is where one can really expect any kind of central agency to in fact really look into this. So yes, this is possibly an angle wherein the central agencies could be involved, but that is again a long process, particularly with the investigation that takes place, because once the Luthra brothers are brought back, we're not expecting Luthra brothers to come to Goa anytime before Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. Once they are brought back is where on Wednesday is where cops will seek custody of Luthra brothers. They try to seek the maximum days of custody for them, particularly on the grounds that they've tried to escape. So here clearly in case the defense lawyer would ask for a lower custody, or for that matter ask for any kind of relief soon. That would not really be possible because of the public sentiments that are really playing out. When we speak of public sentiments, even when anticipatory bail was heard before Rohini Court.
All right, I'm so sorry to interrupt you there, Yesha and Anshul. Let's quickly cut across to the Lok Sabha right now.
Alliance Air, still a government entity. It is running ATRs across the country. It is especially running the most important routes in the northeast area, and also many different destinations where it might not be viable for different players to come in. Government has taken it upon itself to run those routes so that the people in those areas also get connectivity. The new initiative, the new experiment we have started, this was very recently in October we have started with Alliance Air, was Fare Se Fursat. We wanted to see, because there is a lot of discussion on capping of fares, let us see if we can cap the fares to a certain extent, what kind of benefit it is being given to the ultimate consumer or the passenger, and how is the viability of the airlines. So this special initiative that we have done, which is Fare Se Fursat, which is a pilot project for 3 months, Alliance Air, more than 54 routes it is operating in the country. We have selected certain 25 routes where the demand is good, some where the viability not be good. So 25 routes across the country, both northeast, south India, northern part of India, west, east. We have taken up all operations, 25 routes we have earmarked. And in these 25 routes, we have fixed up the fare for that route. And now, in these 3 months, it is still ongoing until December 31st, this Fare Se Fursat scheme is going on. And we want to observe. Now, if I have capped the fares, how is it benefiting the passenger is one? Because there are many other things which are involved. This is a not single-way solution that you are observing that the fares are up and you cap the fares or you make them limited to a certain extent, and the ultimate benefit is going to the passenger, because it is not just that one travel for that passenger. There is a sector here. There is the viability of the airlines. There is an airport that is operating. There are multiple levels in civil aviation for the passenger to go from point A to come out at point B. There are multiple different sectors which are continuously like a symphony working in tandem so that the passenger can go from one place to other. And it is important for us to ensure this whole tandem, the whole connectivity that is there in between, everything is viable in its operations. So that is why the Fare Se Fursat scheme is there. Government is very closely observing how the feedback on this, especially this scheme, and how the passengers are responding to it. So once that is done, definitely we are going to sit down, observe the feedback, and then if necessary, consider this with the private airlines also. And some other measures that we are doing. Because this capacity constraint, usually, madam, if you see, I have statistics also to prove that when we are comparing the airfares of the country with airfares in different other places, especially internationally, the rate of growth that we have seen in the airfares is actually negative. In relative terms, in real terms, there has been 43% decrease in the airfares when you consider the consumer price index also. So if you compare with US or China, US it has decreased at 23%, China 34%, but India the decrease has been up to 43% in relative terms when you compare with the consumer price index and the inflation also that has happened. So if you compare your own tariffs from previous years, previous decades, we have been maintaining a certain sort of level which is still affordable for the people. But in those terms also, when do you observe this airfares rise? It is not that every day they are rising, you see an increase in the fares. When these festive seasons are there, when there is a specific demand that originates in this location for most people to travel, and exactly the examples were also taken, Kerala during Onam, during Christmas, during that specific period, most of the people who are working in the Gulf area, they all want to come back and visit their families in that time. There is a specific season that you see that there is a huge capacity that is going to be there, and those are the routes, specific routes also you can see that this is where the airfares are rising because of the demand that originates. And then you see in the North India sometimes during the Durga Puja, the Calcutta routes are on a surge. During Diwali area, the whole northern sector that is on a rise. And also during Chhat Puja, whatever is going to Bihar, that is on a rise. These are all specific seasons. It is not that I can cap a fare for the entire season, entire year to a certain sector, because there are still, this is why market demand and market supply is very, very important for us to understand. They kind of play in such a way that they regulate the fares on its own. But when we observe, because we also know that there are seasons, because we also know there are capacity constraints in those seasons, we have reacted accordingly. When this Kerala situation observed, and after me becoming the minister also, this was exactly in September of 24, when the Kerala, the Gulf and the Kerala routes, when we observed that, see, what else can we do? What else can we do in this time so that we can facilitate for the people who want to travel and can keep the fares at a very adjustable price? Then we added capacity. We have spoken to the airlines well in advance. We have said this is a situation which is happening every year. Why don't we provide the more capacity in this region so that more people can travel? This is exactly what we have done in that time. More flights which were not operating or non-viable routes across the country, they were taken out. They were brought into this specific sector so that can create, that can facilitate for the demand that it was created. And on top of Onam, during this Kumbh Mela also, everyone wanted to travel to Prayagraj. So we have increased the flights that are going to Prayagraj. So not only capping the fare, but the capacity needs to be augmented. That is the real solution when you are seeing that the fares are rising. Because there is demand there. It is not that you want to send that single passenger in a very adjustable price. You want to send 10 passengers to that place during that specific time. So capacity augmentation is something which is very much required, and we have done that. Kerala during the Onam, and Diwali during Diwali also we have done recently in October 25, Prayagraj Kumbh Mela in Jan 25. So we have worked out this solution when we speak with the airlines before and consider the festive season and increase the capacity. And also, madam, we have to understand what goes into these airfares. I have talked about what some of the measures that we have taken, and also airfares is not a single entity. There are different charges that go into the airfare, and one of the most important one is the aircraft fuel. ATF goes up to 40%, 40 to 45% of the ticket price that you pay is because of the ATF. And the way ATF is there in the country, the state taxes the ATF. And there are multiple states who have brought it below 5%. We are very thankful to them. There are 26 states and union territories which have brought it down because they understand that even if you lose a small revenue in this taxation for the ATF, the kind of economic growth that it creates, the kind of growth aviation network creates for other industries is very, very important, and it is with that idea that it was being done. But there are some states which still have it at a very high percentage. And it is multiple times, our predecessor, Sindhya ji, is also here. He has written and spoken on this many times and written to chief ministers, and I have also taken that responsibility. I have written to chief ministers whenever I get the opportunity to meet them. I have spoken to them on this very specific issue to please bring down the ATF, because if you bring it down, then definitely that also helps the passenger and the cost that it takes. And we have done it with Bihar also. Bihar used to have 29%, but in June 25, they have responded and they have brought in it below 4%. And there is one state, Tamil Nadu also, Manikamji is here. So I will take this opportunity through this discussion also to encourage the state government to bring it down as much as possible, not 5-4%, but bring it down to 1%, so that this benefit of the taxation also is being extended to the passenger at the end. And now this is the ATF. And when it comes to the DGCA measures, DGCA is also a very important regulator for us. It also looks after the safety. It also looked after the airlines and their operations. Now there is a tariff sheet which is being done by the airlines to see how are we going to charge. The tariff sheet mentions the minimum fare for a certain route, maximum fare for a certain route, and they have this bucket system where through buckets, they see how many seats are going to be allocated at a certain price. Not many would be knowing about this, but whenever you go to the website and you purchase a ticket, there is a clear tariff sheet that is mentioned there. But here the airlines also used to be doing their own chalaki. What they used to do, tariff sheet, because according to the law, they have to do it prominently somewhere, they have to display the tariff sheet. But we were also doing our own monitoring. We were checking where is the tariff sheet. But we used to go to the web page and it used to take ages to look at it where the tariff sheet it is right at the bottom, and even the letters with which it was written was only, you can see it only if you use a binoculars. It was at that situation. Then we said this is not the purpose of through which the law has been kept. Then we have updated them. They have instructed them that whenever they open the tariff sheet should be seen right in the front in big letters so that every passenger can see it. We have brought that change. We have monitored that change. Now the tariff sheet is thoroughly displayed. But not only tariff sheet. Now earlier there was the rule that the tariff sheet, there was a small clause which gave an advantage to the airlines that every day they can change the tariff sheet. ऐसा होगा तो कैसे होगा? आज का tariff sheet आज का बन रहा है, आज का ticket हमने ले लिया, कल का tariff sheet कल का बन रहा है, तो again it's not serving the purpose. Then we changed the clause. Then we changed the rule that was giving that clause, that measure, and we said, you won't change it every day. You won't change it every 24 hours. You will only change it every month, so that once the passenger sees at the head of the month, first week of the month, they have to give us the tariff sheet saying in that sector, in this month, how much are you going to charge, how many bucket charges you have. So everything the passenger should know on what charges it will be there. So we have changed it to 1 month. That is also a facility that the passenger will have. I would encourage more passengers to look into this tariff sheet, to look at how the pricing is done, what is the minimum bucket, what is the maximum bucket. And this we have done it last year itself, and there we have observing some changes because it improves the monitoring mechanism that we have on these airlines and their tariff sheets. And also on top of this, there is a tariff monitoring unit that we have created in DGCA. And the purpose of this specifically is to look into what the pricing is and how the airfares are fixed. Are they following the tariff sheet or not? Are there abnormal situations that are being created? So specifically just for tariffs, we have created a tariff monitoring unit, and it has been strengthened time and again through various measures. And earlier, when it started with around 50 routes. But now we have expanded to 78 routes. We are also taking international sectors also right now to understand where and how these tariff fares are being changed and how they are being done. And the tariff monitoring unit, which is going to be a very important unit for us to monitor these tariffs, we are bringing in more IT tools. We are bringing in more technology so that the power at the TMU increases and they can analyze the fares in a very tech-based manner using the IT tools also to analyze. So that is one thing that we have done, and we are also improving the capacity with which TMU works, not only in the routes that are being covered, and also in the number of people that you are doing it. So this is one. And then the most important thing in civil aviation sector in the last 10 years, this is a success story that not only me, who's part of this government, can talk about. Everyone on both sides, all across this house, they can all speak about it, that the Udan scheme was one of the most successful scheme, not only for the country, but for people across the world that we can showcase to. Udan scheme has made democratized air travel in the country. The way we have brought inclusiveness in civil aviation is because of the Udan scheme. The number of unserved and underserved airports in the country, there was a big number. And there was a challenge for us because there were these airlines who were looking at commercial interests. Naturally, the airlines would look at viable routes to function. And that is the most metro routes or the tier 2 to metro routes. But we have been creating airports across the country, especially in the northeast, in our union territories, where they might be not viable to function, but still they need air connectivity. People were aspiring to have air connectivity in the country. So that was when our Honorable Prime Minister came up with this flagship scheme of Udan, Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, and it has done wonders to civil aviation sector in this country. Whatever we experience, We have gone through different places now where people would have not ever thought that they would have an airport at that location. Because of the Udan scheme, we were able to start an airport there. Because of Udan scheme, we were able to start operations there. Today, almost 1,57 lakh people have availed the benefit of Udan. More than 3,26,000 routes have taken over in Udan. More than 693 routes, specific routes which were not there before. Because of Udan scheme, we have started. But there are certain limitations in Udan. The Udan scheme also is not like just to cater for the viability or just to start new connections. Udan scheme is supposed to act like a spark. Wherever there is a route which is not functional, we wanted to start the route, bring in the viability, bring in people, attach them to aviation, attach them to air travel, and let the private sector take its place. It is with this idea that the Udan was brought in, and it was envisioned for 10 years. But I can tell you right now, madam, in the last budget, Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharamanji, understanding the importance of this specific Udan scheme, because like I told, it is only for 10 years. So we were on the verge of completion of the Udan scheme, but she has made the provision that Udan is going to be expanded for 10 more years. This is a great thing for our civil aviation as we are trying to grow more and more in the next few years. Not only expansion for the next 10 years, but she has specifically mentioned that 120 new destinations are going to be covered. That is the strength that civil aviation has in this country. 120 new destinations. How many we have today? 164 airports. 164 is a vast network. But look at the capacity of the country. We are not stopping here. If we want to achieve Viksit Bharat, we have to connect each and every location as much as possible with civil aviation. In the next 10 years, we are going to do 120 destinations, and Udan is going to. And what is the biggest benefit Udan has done to the country? I've talked about many of them. But one of the biggest one is that new airlines have come in. New airlines, which many of you, because they operate in very specific sectors, you might not see them. Star Air is there, Fly 91 is there, India One is there. They might have very small operations. They might have a 9-seater or a 19-seater, but they are the ones who are connecting the tier 3 cities. They are the ones who are connecting the remotest parts. You would have never seen these kind of airlines come into the country. But it is because of Udan. They found a way to come in. Is it not what we want? This is exactly what we want. More airlines to come in. More competition to be there in the country. And Udan is specifically looking into that. Now in the last 10 years, if we can see so much success in Udan, with modifications on the Udan, which is going to facilitate for more people to come in, more competition to be there, more routes being established and more connectivity being established. Imagine the kind of growth we can see with the new expanded Udan in the next 10 years. Definitely, I see the vision that there are going to be more and more airlines coming in the future. I can assure the House that there will be more and more airlines with the Udan scheme also, that it's going to come. I've talked about the tier 2 city connections and tier 3 city connections through Udan, madam, and that we are going to expand. And also in this last 18 months of me being the minister, we have given NOC to 3 new airlines also. And 2 new airlines have also applied for NOC. So this is a continuous activity. We are engaging with the stakeholders. We are engaging with the market. We are creating that aspiration that if you want to be in this sector, this is the time that you want to start a new airline, because the demand is continuously growing. This is the approach of the government also, that we need more airlines. And not only this, I would also like the people here to understand the real bottleneck here. Airports we are creating. Airlines, we have the Udan scheme where we are encouraging, we are giving the viability and all that. Availability of the aircrafts is the serious issue that we all need to understand. There are only certain players across the world who are making these aircrafts. If I have a lot of money to buy aircrafts, if I go sit today that I'm going to start an airline today, I have the unlimited amount of money for me and I want to buy 100 or 200 aircrafts. I can't have this 100, 200 aircrafts right here, right now, today. Because the manufacturing at which it is going comes at a pace. Every month, there are certain factories that they have, there are certain assembly lines that they have. They can only, the throughput of these shops are only that much. And they are not only supplying for India, they are supplying for across the world. There is a huge demand in Gulf. There is a huge demand in Asia Pacific region, and everyone is having to wait for this. India is also waiting. How many orders do we have? 1,700 orders. 1,700 orders pending with Airbus, pending with Boeing, pending with other players. Once we get this, if let us say these 1,700 orders, which our airlines are doing it today, if they all come into our sector, then definitely it is going to benefit the passengers. But the bottleneck is not within the country or with the government or with the airlines. It is the availability of these airlines. We have recognized that. And that is exactly why this government has taken a stance that we are not going to only wait for these aircrafts to be built across. We are going to create a program where the aircrafts can be built in the country. We should have a made in India aircraft also, and that is the vision with which this government is moving. There is a Russian Sukhoi SJ-100, which is a regional aircraft. We are talking with them. HAL is engaging with them. They have gone into MOU. They are going to get the technology here so we can build the plane here. Embraer is a very good plane, very efficient plane. We are seeing Star Air, which is operating on Embraer, giving good connectivity to these tier 2 cities. They are also trying to increase increase their operations. We are talking with Embraer. We are telling them, please come to India and manufacture your shop here so that we can manufacture the aircrafts here. If you have 1,700, demand for 1,700 aircrafts in the future, and if you can get the companies to come and build in this own country, then imagine how much easier it is going to be for people who are airline operators here to get the aircrafts. We can have aircrafts being done here in this facility also being extended. And another type of cost, because these airlines, they run on very thin margins, that also we need to understand. And what are the challenges they face? They faced COVID. COVID was a time nobody was traveling, but they were there surviving. They were there paying salaries to their people. They've all gone through it, even though there was no single flight operating in certain days because of the lockdown. That is a phase that all the airlines had to pass through. And there are high costs of leasing. It is not that today I have the money and I'm buying a plane. There is a different strategy, financial strategy the airlines are using, not only in India, but across the world. They do leasing. Leasing is where I just rent the plane from someone else who has bought the plane, use it for a certain period of time, and I give it back to him. And this is the common strategy that you're observing in all the airlines. At one point of time, maybe 2 decades or 3 decades, 60 to 70% of them were being owned by the airlines and 30% were being done on leasing basis. Now today, 85% of the planes are being leased. So then we thought, why not we address the leasing part only? Then we observed how leasing industry is as compared to the global industry. There are certain hubs. Ireland is a hub, as a big hub, because they started very early. They have created all the regulations that are required. They have done with the taxation problems that are required, and they've created a hub for themselves. So anyone who wants to lease a plane, their first preference is they go to Ireland. And now UAE also, you have seen the demand that Gulf has created. UAE has created another hub for itself for becoming a leasing symbol. And then the Singapore is there. Singapore also kind of created. Why not India? This is the approach of our Honorable Prime Minister, that why not we should become a leasing industry, not only catering for our own demand, but for the entire world. Gift City was created with this whole idea that leasing industry should flourish here. And also we saw that the Cape Town Convention, through which the leasing industry, the compliance score which is seen across the world, that needs to be made into act. We didn't have an act, we didn't have any kind of legislation which was backing that Cape Town Convention. In December, both the houses, we have passed the bill and we have made the Cape Town Convention Act, the protection of aircraft objects, and now the compliance score for India in leasing has improved. So we are creating a presence in leasing. Now what happens with this? Now it will be easier for the companies, for the airline operators to lease planes. The cost will come down. So more people will be interested in this. This is also playing into the competition. This is also playing into creating more airlines to come into the picture. Now I also talked about MROs. Maintenance of the plane is another cost that is there. What happens, madam? We are bringing the planes. Planes I've talked about, we are bringing it from outside, from these companies. But even once you bring it, you have to maintain the plane. There is periodic maintenance. There is maintenance whenever there is any safety issue or a components issue or the engines issue. Engines issue is a very important part of the overall maintenance of the plane. And when you want to do this maintenance, what happens is usually the plane or the engine has to go back to its original OEM, which is sitting in France or Germany or one of the European countries or USA or some other country. And what is it doing? The forex cost. The cost on the airline to just send this plane or the engine, that is being borne by the passenger. And the time it takes, if you take out one plane, then it goes there, it gets maintained, it's come back 1 month, 2 months it takes. You're losing the plane in India to be operating in those sectors. Now what we have done, we have improved the MRO business in the country. We have taken this government exactly with that idea. It has improved the whole MRO situation in the country and multiple other things like the taxes around the MRO components, how you open up the airports to have MROs. I've just seen one member also ask that you need to open up tier 2, tier 3. We are doing it.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Watch on that news story as it develops. But for now, let's shift focus over to TMC MP Shogato Roy, who was caught on camera smoking an e-cigarette inside the Parliament premises. Yesterday, the video came to light after BJP MP Anurag Thakur raised the issue in the Lok Sabha yesterday itself. Following the incident, BJP MPs Giriraj Singh and Gajendra Shekhawat confronted Roy near Makardwar, questioning him for violating rules and endangering others' safety. While this interaction was relatively light-hearted, a formal complaint by Anurag Thakur will now go to the Speaker, naming Kirti Azad, and CCTV footage is also currently being reviewed. The episode has sparked a political war of words, with BJP accusing the Trinamool MP of breaking parliamentary norms. The Speaker has taken note of this entire matter. Listen in to what Anurag Thakur has had to say.
सर, सदन की जानकारी के लिए है सर, देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है। क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है? टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर, टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
All right, let's quickly bring you some breaking inputs coming in on this news story. There's a showdown over the e-cigarette in the Parliament as we speak. The TMC MP Shogato Roy has now justified his actions, saying there's so much pollution already and government cannot stop it, and they have an issue with one cigarette. He adds that if it's wrong, Speaker must take adequate action. In fact, Pallavi Ghosh has been tracking that story for us. Let's also listen in to a quick conversation she had with the TMC MP.
The BJP has made this an issue. Anurag Thakur also picked it up on the floor of the House. Your first reactions to it?
Is that the BJP has no right to do all this. During their government, pollution level in Delhi has gone to such limits that is equivalent to smoking 25 cigarettes a day. This is confirmed by all pollution experts. So BJP has no moral right to speak on this.
But inside the House and e-cigarette, that's the allegation. E-cigarettes are banned in our country.
Inside the House, nobody should smoke. It's up to the Speaker to take proper action in this matter.
And yesterday they also made an issue about you smoking here in the public.
Now, I know they are looking for anything. These useless ministers who cannot reduce pollution in Delhi are making an issue. When whole of Delhi is polluted, one person smoking outside the House premises, which is not against the rule, does not make a difference.
Right, so that conversation Pallavi had with the TMC MP over there, Shogato Roy, but let's quickly take that forward with Pallavi as well. So Pallavi, even though he's defended his actions, the moot point of attack that came in from Anurag Thakur was that because e-cigarettes have been banned way back in 2019, this is also challenging the dignity of the House.
See, there are two things here and the rules are very clear. First of all, the government has banned smoking in public spaces. And here I'm not only talking about e-cigarettes, we are actually talking about the fact that any kind of a cigarette smoking in public spaces are completely banned. Right. And you know, MPs are also supposed to lead by example. And that is where the problem arises as far as Shogato Roy's public smoking is concerned. Of course, the defense comes in and it was a little bizarre kind of a defense which came in from Shogato Roy, where he said that, you know, they are not able to control the pollution. The second problem is, and that official complaint is going to go down in a bit, is about smoking e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes were banned in 2019, and in fact, even possessing, manufacturing, buying e-cigarettes, leave alone smoking, is a punishable offence. And in case you're a first-time offender, it can be 1 lakh rupees in fine and also 1 year in prison. So on both the counts, it is considered to be a completely wrong kind of a crime. And this defense of whataboutery about pollution not being checked by the BJP is not going to cut much ice. As I said, the members of parliament are supposed to lead by example. And what kind of an example are they setting if you're going to see them, one, puffing what is considered to be a banned product, and second, of course, even smoking in public places?
Absolutely. Stay with me, Pallavi. Let's also listen in to all the reactions that you've been getting for us. Pallavi also had a quick chat with Kirti Azad of the TMC. Let's listen in.
Names were not taken, but a very, very serious allegation being made by Anurag Thakur, and he's going to make an official complaint.
You cannot smoke anyways.
I was smoking yesterday.
No, anybody. So
let's talk about the e-cigarette.
Hold on. We're talking about smoking. I can name you approximately 100 members of parliament who smoke in parliament, right? But I don't want to go to such a level where Anurag Thakur went. What if I say that the BJP MPs take 30 to 40% of commission on MP lakhs? Until unless I prove it, it's not there. And I have to first go through the rules and procedures of the House, where you have to first inform the Honourable Speaker before you making any
But he did not take any names of Mr. Azad.
All right, so clearly the TMC currently on the back foot. Let's take that forward with Pallavi, who continues to stay with us. Pallavi, how is Anurag Thakur planning to take this forward?
Well, Anurag Thakur was the one who raised it inside the House at around 11:30 a.m. And of course, he did not take any names. The Speaker did say, Akanksha, that this is something which he's going to take cognizance of. So what we pick up is that the Speaker is going to look through the CCTV footage, but all of this can be done when a formal complaint is going to be given. So Anurag Thakur is going to give a formal complaint to the Speaker in a short while from now. And in fact, he's also going to name the Member of Parliament. Of course, there's a lot of speculation that was that Member of Parliament from the Trinamool Congress, which is Kirti Azad. As I pointed out, it's after that the CCTV footage will be scanned through, and in case an evidence is found, then further action can be taken. You cannot smoke a banned product. E-cigarettes have been banned in our country from 2019. So you are going to be found guilty of breaking the law. The members of parliament are shielded by some privileges, but you cannot break the law. So that is what the procedure is going to be followed. What we are told is, of course, the member concerned will have to give a defense, and then the procedure goes on from there. In terms of the legal procedure, as I said, a first-time offender has to pay a fine of either 1 lakh rupees or a 1-year jail sentence as well.
And there's no denial that the TMC MP has violated the norms yesterday. And you see the kind of defense that's already coming in from the Trinamool Congress. But the BJP, of course, mounting that attack and demanding, as we heard Shehzad Poonawala yesterday say, welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 and we're getting in breaking inputs. This is an update in the 2017 Kerala gang rape and assault case in which the Ernakulam court has just now declared actor Dileep not guilty. It has also rewarded the 6 others with 20 years imprisonment. The court has also imposed a fine of 50,000 rupees on the remaining 6 convicts. That's the big breaking input we're bringing to you. Let's quickly, in fact, go across to Neetu Regokumar, who's joining us live on the broadcast. Neetu, if you can take us through what is the state government planning to do? Reports indicating that they will file an appeal against the verdict as far as the acquittal of Dileep is concerned.
The verdict related to the 2017 actress assault case came on the 9th of this month, when we saw that Dileep, the 8th accused in the case, has been acquitted, and 6 others, including the main accused, Palsa Suni, was found guilty. Now, today it was the quantum of sentence that has been pronounced, and 1 to 6 accused, all those accused who have been found guilty were given 20 years rigorous imprisonment. Now, that is what the judge has said, but there is already certain protests coming in. Basically, the prosecutor himself came out and said that he's disappointed in this because for the section of gang rape, 20 years rigorous imprisonment is the minimum minimum sentence. And even after a survivor had to go through all this, it was only the minimum sentence that was given to these 6 accused. So he is disappointed in this, and he said that he will be recommending to the government to appeal this quantum of sentence also. The state government has already said that they will file an appeal for this order which had acquitted actor Dileep and others. So the state government is planning to file an appeal in that matter, but right now the quantum of sentence has been pronounced.
All right, so that's the big breaking input coming in the latest on that entire verdict of this case. Quickly shifting focus over to some raw breaking inputs coming in. The Special Investigation Team has filed a 2,240-page charge sheet. This is with regards to the Zubeen Garg murder case, which expands to nearly 12,200 pages when all supporting documents and annexures are included. The detailed report outlines the alleged roles of each accused in the suspected murder of singer Zubeen Garg in Singapore, invoking multiple sections of the BNS related to common intention, criminal conspiracy, murder, criminal breach of trust, financial offences and destruction of evidence as well. Listen in to the reaction coming in.
The SIT has submitted charge sheet before the Honorable Court of Chief Judicial Magistrate, Kamrup, Guwahati. So, if you see the sections, murder has been invoked against Siddharth Sharma, Shyamkanu Mohanto, Shekhar Jyoti Goswami and Amrit Prabha Mohanto. Sandeepan Garg 105, that is culpable homicide. And Nandeshwar Bora and Paresh Boisho have been charged for criminal conspiracy and criminal breach of trust for various financial irregularities.
All right, let's quickly go across to Niloy Bhattacharjee, who is joining us live on the broadcast. Niloy, if you can take us through what the SIT charge sheet is stating, who are these 4 accused, the details of them.
Right, as you have rightly mentioned about the volume of the charge sheet, and the charge sheet has been filed after 85 days of the death of Zubeen Garg, that was on 19th of September in Singapore. And the people of the state demanded justice and proper justice into the death and a substantial probe into death, and that could deliver justice. The Chief Minister time and again has said that this death is a case of murder, and the conspiracy was hatched way ahead of his visit to Singapore. Now, as the charge sheet has been filed, and as you have mentioned, that multiple BNS have been framed, which includes murder, which includes criminal conspiracy on breach of trust, and also the charges of culpable homicide against Zubeen Garg's cousin Sandeepan Garg. 4 of the main accused, Shyamkanu Mohanta, the organizer of Northeast Festival, Siddharth Sharma, the manager of Zubeen Garg, then his co-band player and his co-singer. So all 4 of them have been charged of murder, and Sandeepan has been charged of culpable homicide and amounting to murder also. So the charges ranges between the death sentence and life imprisonment. But definitely, yes, there has been this angle of murder once the 103 was framed into the case.
All right, many thanks to you, Niloy, for bringing us all those latest inputs. Also getting in reactions on that news story. Let's listen in to what Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has had to say on this entire case.
SIT का चार्जशीट हो गया है, लोगों को हत्या की गुस्सर में हम लोग अभियुक्त किया हो। अभी आगे जाके न्यायालय में ये जो कानून का रास्ता से अभी आगे चलेगा। कोर्ट का ऊपर सब लोगों का सम्मान है। कोर्ट जो भी करे, हम लोग कोर्ट का ऊपर हमेशा आस्था रखूंगा।
All right, and with that, it's time for a quick break here on Nation at 5. Stay tuned as we return with the latest news and updates.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Air, still a government entity. It is running ATRs across the country. It is especially running the most important routes in the northeast area and also many different destinations where it might not be viable for different players to come in. Government has taken it upon itself to run those routes so that the people in those areas also get connectivity. The new initiative, the new experiment we have started, this was very recently in October we have started with Alliance Air, was Fare Se Fursat. We wanted to see, because there is a lot of discussion on capping of fares, let us see if we can cap the fares to a certain extent, what kind of benefit it is being given to the ultimate consumer or the passenger, and how is the viability of the airlines. So this special initiative that we have done, which is Fare Se Fursat, which is a pilot project for 3 months, Alliance Air, more than 54 routes it is operating in the country. We have selected certain 25 routes where the demand is good, some where the viability not be good. So 25 routes across the country, both Northeast, South India, northern part of India, West, East. We have taken up all operations, 25 routes we have earmarked. And in these 25 routes, we have fixed up the fare for that route. And now, in these 3 months, it is still ongoing until December 31st, this Fare Se Fursat scheme is going on. And we want to observe. Now, if you have capped the fares, how is it benefiting the passenger is one? Because there are many other things which are involved. This is a not single-way solution that you are observing that the fares are up and you cap the fares or you make them limited to a certain extent and the ultimate benefit is going to the passenger, because it is not just that one travel for that passenger. There is a sector here. There is the viability of the airlines. There is an airport that is operating. There are multiple levels in civil aviation for the passenger to go from point A to come out at point B. There are multiple different sectors which are continuously like a symphony working in tandem so that the passenger can go from one place to other. And it is important for us to ensure this whole tandem, the whole connectivity that is there in between, everything is viable in its operations. So that is why the Fare Se Fursat scheme is there. Government is very closely observing how the feedback on this, especially this scheme, and how the passengers are responding to it. So once that is done, definitely we are going to sit down, observe the feedback, and then if necessary, consider this with the private airlines also. And some other measures that we are doing. Because this capacity constraint, usually, madam, if you see, I have statistics also to prove that, when we are comparing the airfares of the country with airfares in different other places, especially internationally, the rate of growth that we have seen in the airfares is actually negative. In relative terms, in real terms, there has been 43% decrease in the airfares when you consider the consumer price index also. So if you compare with US or China, US it has decreased at 23%, China 34%, but India, the decrease has been up to 43% in relative terms when you compare with the consumer price index and the inflation also that has happened. So if you compare your own tariffs from previous years, previous decades, we have been maintaining a certain sort of level which is still affordable for the people. But in those terms also, when do you observe this airfares rise? It is not that every day they are rising, you see an increase in the fares. When these festive seasons are there, when there is a specific demand that originates in this location for most people to travel, and exactly the examples were also taken, Kerala during Onam, during Christmas, during that specific period, most of the people who are working in the Gulf area, they all want to come back and visit their families in that time. There is a specific season that you see that there is a huge capacity that is going to be there, and those are the routes, specific routes also you can see that this is where the airfares are rising because of the demand that originates. And then you see in the North India, sometimes during the Durga Puja, the Calcutta routes are on a surge. During Diwali area, the whole northern sector, that is on a rise. And also during Chhat Puja, whatever is going to Bihar, that is on a rise. These are all specific seasons. It is not that I can cap a fare for the entire season, entire year to a certain sector, because there are still, this is why market demand and market supply is very, very important for us to understand. They kind of play in such a way that they regulate the fares on its own. But when we observe, because we also know that there are seasons, because we also know there are capacity constraints in those seasons, we have reacted accordingly. When this Kerala situation observed, and after me becoming the minister also, this was exactly in September of 24, when the Kerala, the Gulf and the Kerala routes, when we observed that, see, what else can we do? What else can we do in this time so that we can facilitate for the people who want to travel and can keep the fares at a very adjustable price? Then we added capacity. We have spoken to the airlines well in advance. We have said this is a situation which is happening every year. Why don't we provide the more capacity in this region so that more people can travel? This is exactly what we have done in that time. More flights which were not operating or non-viable routes across the country, they were taken out. They were brought into this specific sector so that can create, that can facilitate for the demand that it was created. And on top of Onam, during this Kumbh Mela also, everyone wanted to travel to Prayagraj. So we have increased the flights that are going to Prayagraj. So not only capping the fare, but the capacity needs to be augmented. That is the real solution when you are seeing that the fares are rising. Because there is demand there. It is not that you want to send that single passenger in a very adjustable price. You want to send 10 passengers to that place during that specific time. So capacity augmentation is something which is very much required, and we have done that. Kerala during the Onam, and Diwali during Diwali also we have done recently in October 25, Prayagraj Kumbh Mela in Jan 25. So we have worked out this solution when we speak with the airlines before and consider the festive season and increase the capacity. And also, madam, we have to understand what goes into these.
Welcome back. Kolkata has turned into a full-blown football city. This as Messi mania sweeps through the streets. The excitement is unmistakable, with fans splurging up to 25,000 on the streets. CNN News 18's Komalika Sen Gupta brings us a ground report. I leave you with this report. Thank you so much for watching. Up next is Plain Speak with Shivani Gupta.
Kolkata is all gearing up for the Messi magic. And Kolkata is a football fever city, a city which lives in football. And you can see huge line is there behind me, and everybody is grabbing the tickets from 3,500 to say 25,000. The tickets cost definitely 25,000 are the VVIP tickets, but everybody is here in line to give money and grab the ticket. 10,002 tickets. So is it not pricey? Why?
No, it is not pricey.
Why?
I'm seeing Messi after 7 years. For the first time in my life, it's not pricey.
It's every money is worth it for him. And he has been my idol all my life.
In one side, their tickets are being sold. On the other side, you can see that already these jackets, these t-shirts of Messi and other t-shirts are being sold. Have you bought the ticket?
Yes, B1. 5,276.
So is it not, pricey to you, or why spending money?
Messi जोनो सब करते बड़ी.
सब कर सकते हैं.
Yes. Messi के लिए सब कर सकते हैं. तो 5,000 मैं फर्स्ट टाइम 4,276 ऐसा टिकट खरीदा, लेकिन B2 हो जाएगा तो मेसी जब राउंड मारेगा तब मैं हाथ नहीं मिल सकते, लेकिन जब B1 ब्लॉक में बैठ सकते तो तब मैं हाथ मिला दूंगा, इसीलिए मैं B1 कर रहे 5,276 रुपये में.
मेसी के लिए कुछ भी हो सकता है, पैसे का मैटर नहीं है, एक बार ही सुझेगा, लाइफ टाइम वन टाइम.
घर में डांट नहीं रहा है.
क्या बोल रहे तो क्या कर सकते, लेकिन मेसी तो एक बार ही आएगा ना, तो इस अपॉर्चुनिटी अगर चला जाए तो बहुत बुरा लगेगा इसलिए.
We have with us the man who is bringing Messi in India, the GOAT tour, Mr. Shatodru. We'll talk to him because everyone is excited about, and Kolkata right now is under Messi fever. Shatodru, thanks that Messi mania, and Kolkata, we are all football fans. So if you could just tell us for our viewers that what is this GOAT tour all about? Where all he's going?
See, the GOAT tour is basically a pan-India tour of Messi. Basically, we call him GOAT normally. So the last time when he came to India, he was in Calcutta 14 years back. So now he's coming as a world champion. So I thought, it has to be a tribute to a country, because although football is not so popular all over India, but Lionel Messi is the biggest icon along with Cristiano Ronaldo. So this big icon should not be only limited to only Bengal, because he has a huge fan base. So I thought, why don't I cover the whole part of India, covering Delhi, Mumbai, South Hyderabad, and then in Bengal, obviously it's a mecca of football. So that was the plan, that a tour should be a real term, a tour covering the most part of India. And knowing the fan base of Messi, I think they'll be happy to see the greatest of all time coming, I think probably for the last time, because he's a guy who doesn't travel too much. He's a guy who doesn't do personal event. For the first time in his life, he's doing a personal event.
So people are counting every hour, and it's going to be star-studded Salt Lake Stadium here right now where we are standing. Messi will be there. People in Kolkata have just gone mad with that. And imagine the King Khan is also expected to come here with all the celebrities out here. To definitely a big thank yous to Shatadruda, who is bringing Messi to India, and this GOAT tour that's going to start. That's really going to be very, very exciting.
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. What began as a local case over a ritual has snowballed into a national flashpoint, the Deepam Row from Madurai. It has no communities at loggerheads, but the state fighting against a devotee